Hey guys, how's it going today? This is Cat in the Bag Gamer here, and today I wanted to talk about Zero No Kiseki from Japan and Ao No Kiseki. These games are both a duology. They were both made for the PSP. The first one, which was Zero No Kiseki, being released in 2010, Japan only. It also had a PS Vita re-release that had updated visuals, graphics, voices, etc. Next, we have Ao no Kiseki, which was the sequel, released in 2011. That came for the PSP pretty late. It also has another PS Vita re-release. Now, talking about Zero no Kiseki again, this was also released in China as well for the PC. A lot of people have done some English update playthroughs of that one. Now, I wanted to talk about these games because I've actually had the experience being somebody from the US being able to play these games because I've been starting to learn Japanese. So I definitely have an understanding of what's going on in these games. It was a very unique experience. They're both wonderful games, so I definitely wanted to pass on my experience and review these. So next, let's take a quick look into the story arc of these games. Just to note here, there will be some potential spoilers. Now, Lloyd Bannings is the main protagonist of both of these games. He's also accompanied by a variety of party members. The main team includes Randy, Tio, and Ellie, which they're in both games indefinitely. You also do get some other characters, very fun casts like Wazy Hemisphere and Noel Seeker, who's a part of the intelligence division of Crossbell. I'm very excited about this game also because the Ouroboros are definitely the main antagonist of both games. However, in the first game, you have to deal with the mob because there's like a gang thing going on in Crossbell City. But by the end of the first game, you do take care of them. But there will be an epic kind of cliffhanger that it reveals the Ouroboros were secretly managing everything. And surprisingly, the Ouroboros has also replaced the third Anguis that was killed off in Trails in the Sky with a new character. Now, a lot of you, if you Google it, probably know who the third Anguis is, the new one already, so I'm not going to really talk about who that is yet. But in the second game, we definitely have a showdown with the Anguis. There even more Anguises get involved from the Ouroboros. Now, Anguises are like commanders of the Ouroboros. Another thing to look forward to is we're going to see a new Anguis in the second one named Arianrod, which is the best boss of almost any game I've ever played because she's so difficult and considered to be the most powerful person in the entire world of Kiseki. It has a great soundtrack that goes in with this battle as well. The Ouroboros mainly gets involved because they're now fulfilling the Phantasmal Blaze project, which also continues into the US Legend of Heroes game, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, and hopefully the third one releasing soon in Japan. Now, Crossbell gets involved with this because it houses the Septarion treasure, the Mirage treasure, which was actually already destroyed, and the new Anguis in the game is trying to recreate it. Somehow it also involves a girl named Kia. She's definitely vital into resurrecting the new Septarion. I'm not going to reveal what happens as to how the game ends, what happens with Septarion, but all the Ouroboros will eventually return in another game. I very enjoyed it a lot, also because the Ouroboros has a lot of other third parties involved, like the Red Constellation, Jaeger Corps, and they have a lot of the citizens of Crossbell as well involved in their plots, which wasn't seen in Trails in the Sky. However, in the previous other Trails games, like Trails of Cold Steel, which is technically comes after this, and Trails in the Sky, which became before this, the Ouroboros did have affiliations with Jaegers and other individuals, powerful groups, etc. But this one definitely, they seem to be more involved, trying to fill in different roles, etc. Next, I'd like to talk about the return of the Bracer Guild. They definitely have a huge presence in the Crossbell arc, including main members like Arios McLean, who's one of the most powerful bracers in the game currently at this time. Now, the Crossbell Police Force, which is what the main protagonists are on, is currently competing to try and take better of the Bracer Guild at the moment, because they have a better reputation among the citizens in Crossbell. I was very excited because also in this game, 3 main characters from Trails in the Sky return. Joshua and Estelle Bright from Trails in the Sky make their return, because they're also chasing after Renee, who flees here after Trails in the Sky the third. Next, I'd like to talk about the game's battle mechanics. This game is very similar to Trails in the Sky and definitely Trails of Cold Steel. You're just kind of free roaming, running around, but you have requests to complete at the behest of the citizens, as well as the police academy and the Bracer Guild this time. And you have to complete some of these to move forward with the main story of the game. A lot of traveling around and mysteries to solve in the first one, while the second one is mainly chasing after the Ouroboros. Returning in the game's battle mechanics, we have again the use of orbital arts and physical attacks. Now, quickly, I just want to take a quick video, show you that of how the battles work. As you can see, the battle mechanics are pretty straightforward, even if though they're all in Japanese. You don't really have to know the language to understand what's going on. Like, you can itemize your Sepith and your orbital arts by the colors of the arts, and the action commands are pretty straightforward since they show narrations and pictures. The only other mention I'd like to say is that I was very happy they returned the fishing mechanic in this game, since it's open world. There's a lot of fishing spots and around the waterfalls, lakes, ponds, all throughout Crossbell, etc. Next, I'd like to just jump straight into the review and say, together I would give these games a 9.5 out of 10. They're probably my most favorite games I've ever played. I'm so surprised that this has not come to the US, even though this was one of the highest rated games in Japan. Obviously, most of the difficulties with that coming to the US has to do with the millions and millions of characters, because this game is so dialogue heavy, and it would cost too much money for Falcom to even bring it here, possibly. But who knows, because again, they have brought over Trails in the Sky the third recently. I'm sure that costed them a pretty penny, but we'll have to wait and see. Definitely, I thank you all for taking a look at my review today. I definitely hope you have a chance to play these games. For me it was very difficult because I couldn't understand certain conversations, because this game does use some slang and maybe even some cuss words like around from in the first game when you're talking between the gangs and the mob and all that. So this game was definitely well worth it. I still was able to understand the entirety of the main story through both games, having minimal Japanese skills and everything else. Only problem you might experience is that you can't understand some of the side quests they want you to complete. But then again, I was able to complete the game very easily. And just keep in mind, you might not be able to complete all of the optional tasks and side quests on your first playthrough. So definitely don't let that discourage you from playing this game. Now I just want to show you the two openings. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment or like. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.
生きてるその意味を探し続けるそれが生きることさ